What has been alive in my practice recently is kind of getting like a little glimpse, a little taste of the expansive, unlimited nature of the mind. Just a little tidbit, just a little. My mom would say smidgen, just a smidgen of the endless capacity. What we do at the Abbey on a regular basis is try to push the limits of our capacity for compassion and empathy and love. And every day we practice in our meditation sessions and also in our post meditative sessions. Yeah, so basically all day long, even through the night, we're pushing the limits and trying to increase our capacity to become greater people and become Buddhas one day. We can even see this when we read the stories of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and we can see that it's actually possible to have unlimited capacity for these great qualities. And also in people like His Holiness the Dalai Lama and great masters like this that we revere, we can see these great qualities and we aspire to them or for them. And for me, it really inspires me. It lifts up my heart. Seeing these people and reading these stories, I feel like it's actually possible to do this, and it puts a lot of energy into my practice, which is really great. So in a very mundane, nerdy way, this is kind of exemplified in this picture. I'm really curious if anyone knows who this is and what he's doing. Yes, he's playing chess. This is Magnus Carlsen. He's playing 10 Harvard lawyers at the same time, blindfolded, looking the wrong way. So I want to reveal myself as a chess nerd. Not a good one, but I'm really curious about it. I think because chess is associated with intellect, and so I felt like I want to be seen as intellectual, so maybe I'll start playing chess, and then people will think. But he became a grandmaster at the age of 13. I'm not sure how old he is here. He's probably not even a man, but he of course, he beat them. And that's not even the greatest of his or any other chess master's feat, because these are amateurs, and he will play blindfolded against professionals and win, of course. And he'll play timed matches, so you only have a certain amount of time to play, and there's a lot more pressure, and he wins those too. So this is amazing, but in comparison, there's even more amazing things. And what we do here at the Abbey is obviously not in a mundane way, in a much greater way. We use our capacity to serve others and to benefit others, which is really amazing. So another way at the Abbey that we use the infinite capacity of our mind is through memorization. So when I first got here, I noticed that I was looking at the screen, and when I looked around, we were doing these long chants and sutras. Nobody else was looking at the screen, and I was really amazed that they could do this. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna be here for a while, so I might as well just start memorizing all these things, and that's what I did. Geshe Tupten Jinpa, who, when I look at his face, I feel like so much wisdom and compassion. It's just nice to look at his face. He just radiates something amazing, some quality that I like to aspire to. But I was listening to a podcast, an interview, and he said that concentration is very tied in with memorization, which I never thought of before. But it's really true. It takes so much concentration to memorize these things. And then during the recall process, there's a lot of concentration. So when he was translating for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, His Holiness would speak for 5, 6, 7, I don't know how many minutes. And somehow Geshe is able to keep all this information and then to be able to recall it with great accuracy. And if you're translating for His Holiness, you can't really make any mistakes. You really want to make sure you're conveying his message in a really pure way. So I really respect that. So I found in my practice, when I'm memorizing, it's not just memorizing for the sake of memorizing or to be able to do this thing, but it increases my concentration, and I can feel my concentration like a laser becoming more and more focused. So it actually has a larger purpose, and during the recall, when we're actually saying the sutra or doing the chant, there's a lot of concentration that has to go there too. So it could be easy once you've memorized it to kind of turn your brain off and just say it from rote memory. So your mouth is moving, but your brain is lying on a beach somewhere with a virgin daiquiri. But if you turn your brain on and really focus on the sutra or the chant, it really becomes a much richer, deeper experience when you have it memorized. So lately, I wanted to get more into the 35 Buddhas purification practice we do in the morning and the evening. So I started memorizing the different Buddhas. And I feel this strong connection with each Buddha as I'm saying their name. So this process of memorizing their names and then picturing them as I'm saying it has been really, really rich, and it's really deepened this whole practice that we do twice daily. So I really appreciate this opportunity to use this concentration and to use memory in order to increase my capacity and increase the depth of my practices. You guys might find the same thing true. So as monastics, you guys have entered a long history of people memorizing. And this goes back to the Banakas, which is a word that I hadn't heard until I got to the Abbey. And I was really curious about it. So Banakas were around at the time of the Buddha, and they had a great responsibility to memorize certain texts or long passages from the sutras and the Vinaya and the Abhidharma, the words of the Buddha. So I can imagine the great responsibility they must have felt to hold the precious words of the Buddha and make sure they were preserved for eons to come until the next Buddha arrives. So some people might discredit oral histories as not being as authentic as written histories, but actually we can see that from the similarity in the Vinaya Sutra Abhidharma as it's spread to different places, it's incredibly similar. And Venerable Chodron has talked about this several times. So I think that speaks to the authenticity of these Banakas and how they were able to memorize and have such great capacity to keep the words of the Buddha pure, and it's incredible how much they were able to memorize. So even to this day, in Burma, there's the Burmese Tipitaka examinations, which are oral and written. It lasts 33 days, and all day long with some breaks, people who are applying can they have these tests, and they have to orally repeat back what they've memorized, and it's really amazing how they can do this. So out of over 7,000 applicants, only 114 were able to successfully pass this exam in the one Pitaka basket. So there's the 3 baskets of the Tripitaka, and they've memorized one Pitaka successfully. And for two Pitaka, only 13 people have passed. And somehow there's a 2.5 Pitaka, and 5 people have passed that part. So that's really astounding. They could memorize so many texts. And so I think it shows that the capacity to memorize and to keep things fresh in our brain is really limitless. Because in the Tibetan tradition, I know that the Kanjur is, I think, 150 volumes, and the Tanjur is 250, around there. Around 108, yeah. So it's huge. These people are memorizing massive amounts of information and being able to recall it accurately. So that's really incredible. Lastly, the thing that turned me on to memorization and being able to memorize more accurately was this book, Moonwalking with Einstein. You're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but when I saw the name of this book, I was totally enthralled. And then when I realized it was about memorization, I had to read it. So thank you to Joshua for doing this. The book is mostly about the USA Memory Championship and the World Memory Championship, where people memorize decks of cards and pi down to hundreds and thousands. It's really incredible what they can do. But their technique is that the brain is not so good at memorizing abstract numbers and words, but it is much better at visualization. So if you can translate the words you're memorizing into a picture of some sort, then it's much easier to see it in your mind and be able to recall it. So that's what I have done. Right now, you're in my House of Loki, which is the name of the technique they use for memorization. And I put the 4 great vows right here. There's the first one, the second one, the third, and the fourth. So I wanted to have it in a really obvious place where I would see it daily, and it would remind me of these 4 great vows, which I really hold dear to my heart. So the first one is countless are sentient beings I vow to liberate, and then endless are the afflictions I vow to eradicate. So on the first one, I imagine that sentient beings are like doves, birds. So I can see countless doves right here in this space on the wall behind me. And then I can see as they're liberated, they fly out into the sky and they're totally free. So with this vivid image in my head, it's much easier to remember these quotes and these texts and these sutras. And I suggest it to anyone who's interested in memorization. So may we use these techniques to deepen our practice, to benefit more sentient beings, and to be able to become full Buddhas one day.